Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We will have a time for change call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Reverse Aging Health Call with special guest this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Everyone is your mirror. Every human being is reflecting aspects of yourself. These are parts that you can or cannot see. So it's not like we see them all, but we do see some. Some days you may notice that someone is rich or poor. There are facets of you who feels rich or poor inside you. Your job is to recognize these parts and accept them, yet not take any one part too personally. Who you are is much more than your personality. You are all of these parts and none of them. You are that which is beyond all thoughts and perceptions, an infinite soul that cannot be contained by anything. Look deeply into the eyes of those mirrors who are around you and notice what you see. Know that what you see in the other is always perfect, a divine reflection of a much bigger truth that is unfolding within you. Take the risk today to find what you love in every mirror you meet. Just reflecting your greatest back at you. How do we awaken the enlightened animal within us? You have to remember that freedom is the highest value. And if love is not giving you freedom, then it is not love. Okay. You have to remember that freedom is the highest value. And if love is not giving you freedom, then it is not love. Most of us are unaware that we blindly accept living in a society stuffed full with rules, regulations, and imposing laws that command us to follow its lead. We are hypnotized to follow this rigid system of moral code and conduct that was meant to keep the masses orderly, in line, on track, and in a container of conducting themselves in a safe and harmless manner. There is a false sense of security that can arise from such a structure. And comparing to how things were 500 years ago, where physically brutality was an accepted form of social connection. We humans have made incredible progress, yet as the tight grip of the Western world governments have become just a bit too over-controlling, it has produced masses of fearful, sterile, and emotionally gridlocked humans who are terrified of stepping out of line, fully self-expressed, and rocking the social boat in any way. One of the major flaws I find in any overly controlling system is not the 3,000 extra laws and addendums added to each new set of rules every year, nor the amount of money, time, and energy it takes to get anything accomplished within this system structure. The real issue is that our system's foundation is built on a lack of trusting each individual's divine intuition and connection to higher consciousness. This psychological depth of fear-based control has led the masses to forget and refute the fact that we are all super powerful magnetic manifesting beings who can attract anything we desire by pure will. The lack of trust in our connection to spirit has separated us from our greatest inherent ally that would liberate us all from this deep unconscious trance. This ally is that wild, free animal within us who refuses to be a slave for the system's needs, as it cannot follow any rigid set of rules to keep, for deep down it understands the actual divine manifesting power we each have. It knows that we are living in a multidimensional universe that has no limits, no boundaries, and that the heart will always know the right way and wrong way of navigating through this experience called life. It really doesn't matter, as a collective, that we have unconsciously given our system power over us by assuming it is the authority over the choices we make and how we live our lives. We can pretend to play by the social rules, believing that it is deeply wrong that anyone should stand up and dance on the table at a fancy restaurant or belt out their favorite song or love song at the local church or kiss your lover passionately in front of a watchful crowd. Most of us don't know just how deeply we are imprisoned and programmed to behave in a very particular way until we choose to rebel. Most of us were not taught how to be free in our thinking, words, and actions, as this would upset the social norm. Understand that. It really doesn't matter as a collective that we have unconsciously given our system power over us by assuming it is the authority over the choices we make and how we live our lives. We can pretend to play by the social rules, believing that it is deeply wrong that anyone should stand up and dance on the table at a fancy restaurant or belt out their favorite love song at the local church or kiss your lover passionately in front of a watchful crowd. Most of us don't know just how deeply we are imprisoned and programmed to behave in a very particular way until we choose to rebel. Most of us were not taught how to be free in our thinking, words, actions, as this would upset the social norm. We simply do not realize we are sovereign until we come across a more enlightened being who demonstrates through their consciousness, energy, heart, and wisdom what true freedom really is and how they discovered it along the way. I find that the biggest truth is the one that creates the most liberation, aliveness, and love in your life. If you continue following the smaller truths, the beliefs that make you feel more powerless, imprisoned, and unloved, it is going to weaken you, stifle you, and eventually kill you. Every human being knows deep down what is best for themselves. We are each born with a natural indicator that tells us this information in each new living, breathing moment. When we return to our deeper animal nature, we feel it, know it, and naturally trust in the fresh information that arises in each new sensual moment, listening to higher guidance that is constantly showing us the way. This deeper knowing thrives beyond the blind who fight or follow our system's law-abiding structure. This is the beginning to understanding that the enlightened animal who only lives spontaneously is totally devoted to this divine sensual moment and perpetually honoring our inherent manifesting power to attract and create the most amazing life we will truly love. God is there only if you surrender. Surrender makes anything God. Surrender gives you the eyes, and everything that is brought to these eyes becomes divine. Osha. To take that first step into the realm of experiencing the enlightened animal within each and every one of us. We must choose to take the risk to explore something that might feel a bit frightening to experience. We must choose to open ourselves to an energy, an attitude that is primal, real, authentic, and yet deeply sensitive, highly conscious, deeply devoted to the path of love. The path of the enlightened animal is all about trusting our inner guidance, taking uncalculated risks, not holding back the pure love for another being, and being totally emotionally free. As you practice trusting in yourselves, there is this natural state of divine unguardedness and true fearlessness that comes from the pure joy of being untamed, unabandoned, totally wild, and absolutely free. You may not think that bringing forth the animalistic energy inside you could contribute to creating a successful life brimming with spiritual advancement. Yet the truth is that when it comes down to it, it is the only thing that does. The animal in you, in each of us, is not reckless and foolish. It is instinctual, trusting, passionate about being alive. Every meeting and personal encounter for an enlightened animal becomes an exquisite, intimate, sensual soul, a sensual soul connection that is fierce and ruthless in its pursuit of opening up the heart further into love. This paradigm shift creates our most alive, sensual, and enlightened state of being. This enlightened animal is inside each and every one of us and is our deepest and most evolved, enlightened nature. If you feel you already are a highly passionate being and want to take a bold jump to experience your inner enlightened animal, imagine what it is like to overcome any limitation or fear you have or may have. The basic social fears of being abandoned, unloved, unwanted, or ousted from the community are some of the most typical fears people have. What others say or do is a constant threat that continuously pierces our consciousness, causing people not to feel free enough to laugh out loud, for they might disturb the person next to them. The enlightened animal in you is beyond all of this. This part of you knows that fear creates the illusion that you lack true freedom. It has integrated and transcended the deep unconscious prison of social shoulds and shouldn'ts, which most humans have simply surrendered to and accepted as law. The enlightened animal knows that this is just the way society is evolving right now, and they are radically free from any complacency that is formed, which causes people to live a dry, controlled, boring, and tame existence that is bound by the society's imaginary psychological walls. There once was a study done on baby fleas that were born in a glass jar, only 5 inches tall. Normally in life, a newborn flea can jump up to 3 feet or more when they are mature. These baby fleas, however, grew up always hitting a mysterious glass ceiling that was placed over them at birth. And so they never knew anything else than pain and frustration whenever they tried to jump beyond the 5 inches. When the fleas were removed from the jar, after they were fully mature, the study found that for the remainder of their lives, the fleas never could jump higher than 5 inches. So the real question here is, what are the glass ceilings in your life? What are your belief systems that cause you to play small, think small, act small, and only jump so high? What is stopping you from stepping into your most enlightened animal nature? Until we get a glimpse of our infinite potentiality and feel the unbounded level of creative energy we can tap into within ourselves, we truly have no idea what limited lives we are still living. To get a tiny glimpse of this real freedom, we have to return to the most liberated part of ourselves, which comes in the form of our basic mammal nature. And yes, it is true, at the deepest core of your existence, you are very primal and animalistic. This core animal essence within you is either going to be your path to total freedom and enlightenment, or it will thicken the walls of a perpetual social prison. Once you realize how imprisoned you truly are, how socially unacceptable it may feel to be radically alive, the shift will begin to happen. You will start to truly befriend your most wild, free animal nature, and only through this will you discover the most liberating, conscious, and wholesome aspect of yourself. We must choose to integrate the dark and light aspects within ourselves if true enlightenment is going to find us. Once the raw, real, and wild side is allowed to surface and surrender into the soft, conscious, and receptive, intuitive nature, all the walls blocking you from your dreams begin falling down. Our task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within ourselves that we have built against it, really. Getting in touch with your inner enlightened animal is a very sensual experience that awakens the greatest aliveness you can handle. Your body is your gateway to God, and the physical senses are your inner vehicles for navigating your way. To start accessing your highly sensual animalistic nature today, begin by feeling deeply into each one of your 6 senses. Make it a point to do this every day, whenever, wherever you are, to allow yourself to be a highly sensual being and stop whatever you're doing and consciously tune in to what your senses are receiving. Relax, deepen, and soften into your experience of touching, tasting, smelling, seeing, and hearing. Feel into your intuitive connection to the divine that is at your deepest, most silent core. Use each of your senses to awaken you. Feel the conscious divinity. It is in everything around you. The more sensitive you can become, the more exotic, erotic, and abundant your life will be. The divine animal in you will begin to emerge more frequently as you allow yourself to deeply fall in love with this universe. That is the love making and divine meeting of form and spirit in each new moment. I find it also helps to bring your attention to any animals you may see. Feel into their energy. Imagine you are inside them. If you look at animals in the wild, you mainly see this very sweet, calm, relaxing, and patient energy that they naturally have. They are directly connecting with the earth, aligned with the elements, the weather, living in harmony with their surroundings. This connection with Mother Nature creates the most sensually alive and deeply peaceful presence any being can have. Your most soft, receptive, and accepting blissful nature will simply shine forth from within. Most people are afraid of that wild, crazy, and free aspect of their inner animal, which would allow them to behave however and perhaps destroy the life and relationships they've created. This fear is coming from that childish part inside who didn't know any better And the trusting of oneself as an adult is where the enlightened aspect comes in. Your heart is conscious, and it has full understanding over what feels right and wrong to choose and do in each moment. Trusting in your heart is the ultimate guide. And you can start living totally without any hesitation, procrastination, or fear of what other unenlightened animals around you would think of you. Often, it will happen that whenever people first allow the most wild, free animalistic energy inside themselves to fully come out into the society, they are instantly met with feelings of fear, guilt, shame, and a piercing judgment from others. It's only when we can discover our truly grounded and liberated inner animal that we can transcend all the imposing negative beliefs others may have about us and feel free to express ourselves in the most authentic, empowering, and liberating ways. Through smiling eyes that know you are on the path of freedom, being your true self, not to rebel against the sheeple, yet to discover the active source of true freedom within you. The enlightened animal within you is the most grounded, solid, and real individual inside you who is already deeply free. This being may live in the same society as everyone else, yet they are completely free from fear. They allow fearful feelings to rise and pass away, which are meant to heighten their sensitivity to life. Yet they don't let any worry dominate or control their mind. They consciously make and break their own rules, as they know that they are the sovereign authority over their life. This true enlightened being lives only by divine inspiration, following the path of love, intuition, consciously choosing to abide in the source of complete harmony, being at peace with the society's fear-based illusions. There is absolutely nothing that any animal fears socially. When this enlightened animal within you comes alive, it feels totally free to speak your deepest truth without holding back energetically on any level. There is an understanding that you are a unique individual being who also is always at peace with the greater herd. They know this state of universal oneness is the permanent nature of reality and do not fight with it. The enlightened animal is not interested in harming others, yet only interacting with the community in a way that is conducive to creating more sustainability, growth, love, engaging intimately with others that reveals more truth, lightness, and freedom along the way. Our task in this life must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Nobody is able to achieve this completely, but the striving for such achievement is in itself a part of the liberation and a foundation for inner security. Albert Einstein. I find that the enlightened animal can be a threat to others because it is extremely powerful in its naked vulnerability. They trust in their guidance so completely beyond what anyone says that they are free from any thoughts, addictions, habitual programs of feelings that they simply don't want to experience. They don't care to experience it. He or she has transcended the unwritten moral and social code and thus does not take anything personally from the world. The enlightened animals consciously lives life beyond their ego, engaging with the spiritual source of every being on an individual personal level. They know that through this intimacy with each person they discover the greatest truth of all. And this experience is so vast that it takes precedence over any assumed judgments of any collective group. The enlightened animal is able to find a sensual experience of God in every personal human interaction. They meet others with intense appreciation, acceptance, and approval, accepting wherever people are at in their spiritual journey. Deep down, they know that if others judge you, they are simply defining where they are at instead of where you are at. From this enlightened perspective, there seems to grow an unguardedness that has an honest, real, true love for others that is totally free from fear, desire, and inhibition. The highest enlightened path in life, in this life, contains a merging and melting of our deepest, darkest emotions with the highest peaks in consciousness. It is only through accessing that truly wild, free being in you that you can find the needed fuel to create such a sacred shift into higher consciousness. You will see then, in this endless game of meeting the ego's desires and then life, that the consciousness of the enlightened animal has already graduated. Its fierce meeting of having total intimacy with others has burned out any leftovers of lack, neediness, and desperation from the past. There is only one love and presence overflowing inside. Everything that contained fear has now been burned up in the compassionate fire of love. This path of discovering our inner enlightened nature is the most profound sacred journey we can take on. And riding on the back of your inner animal will perpetually fill your heart with the most grounded, natural, and earthly connection to the divine. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. And I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing always is to relax our bodies. Now, a lot of people don't know how to relax their body. They think artificial stuff, drugs, can do that. But relaxing the body is not a difficult thing. When you understand that that body that you're in is like a super magnetic sponge. And when you enter it, when it's a baby form, it immediately starts absorbing things. Not only does it absorb everything, past lives, future lives, present life, and it continues to absorb it. And what happens is that it stores it in your subconscious mind. Now, the body's at stress all the time. You get so accustomed to the body being at stress, you don't even think you're at stress. As a matter of fact, when you think you're relaxed, you have stress. So the breath is paramount. It is divine positive energy. The breath, we enter these bodies, we power them up. Everything comes online. The oxygen, bringing it in the air to the lungs, sustains the body that we're in so that we can experience physical form. So when you focus on your breath, easy in through the nose, easy out through the mouth, you listen to the breath, you automatically move into the now. You still the ego, the mind, the subconscious mind. You still them, which means you leave them alone. You are not participating with them. They're shooting all kinds of thoughts at you. I mean, endlessly, right? You have 60,000 plus thoughts yourself that you generate every day. Now, that doesn't mean we're aware of all those thoughts. Then, in front of us, flying by like clouds in the sky, millions of programmed thoughts from others. Millions of programmed thoughts from others. Tens of thousands, millions of years on this planet. Those thoughts flying by. So we watch. You see a thought will come by, right? And you go, no, that's not my thought. I'm not really interested in engaging with it, so it'll just pass by. And you'll get in the habit of that, so you won't inadvertently grab one anyway and float off. Remember, your thoughts are sent out to the universe. Any thought that comes in is not your thought. Now, it's real tricky because it has your name attached. It hooks right on to what you've been thinking about, right? And so it's just natural. It's got to be yours. But it's not. That is one of the traps of the matrix. So when you're in the now and you still all of that, and the mind chatter, we all have mind chatter. We have mind chatter 24/7. It never leaves. It never seems to leave, does it? But in the now, it's gone. See, in the now, we're not thinking about tomorrow. We're not thinking about yesterday. We're not thinking about both of them. We're only thinking about the now, the moment to moment, the breath. This relaxes the body, eases the body. All the stuff, worry, the stress, the fear, it leaves. See, the ego mind does not want you to go into the now because it knows that if it does go into the now, it won't exist. So that's why it puts up such a heck of a fight trying to keep you in the past or the future. That's where we suffer. So you go in the past, you go in the future, you suffer. You gain attachments, expectations, you suffer. Does that make any sense? Why? Oh, yes, I would love to suffer. No. No way. Now, we know that we aren't these bodies. Through the heart mind, we know we are not the ego mind, the subconscious mind. We're none of that. That's what we inherit when we enter these bodies. We are the God, the kingdom of God, the God source, the heaven. That's what we are. We're not the personality, the character, the name, the belonging, anything. So when we look in these bodies, we see 7 lights. They go from our tailbone all the way to the top of the head. There's 7. They're beautiful, all different colors, and they're so vibrant that you wouldn't see those colors here on this planet. And what are they? They're spirit etheric energy. What are we as the gods we are? Spirit etheric energy, omnipotently powerful. So we flow through them. And they're known as chakras on this planet. And the definition of chakra is wheel, wheels of light. So doesn't you kind of start to understand that when you choose to do the journey within you and not outside of you anymore, and you stay within, you will eventually discover that you, the God that you are, is the power of healing this body that you're in. So eventually, we will heal these bodies at the blink of the eye without even a question. We know them right down to the quantum quark. Nobody outside of us knows these bodies like the gods that we are inside the bodies. Now, you look at understanding how important it is for us, all of us, to maintain and stay in gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness with ourselves, to maintain and stay in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. Now, if you were to look in front of you and visualize through your heart mind, you see 3 paths. One on the left is the past. One on the right is the future. One in the center where you're standing is the now. Now, these paths don't differ and color configuration. They all have trees that have formed a canopy. The trees are a shimmering, glittering gold, the leaves, the branches, the bark, everything. The path itself is a vibrantly bright emerald green flaming grass. Now what you see is that the one on the left is the difference between the three of them, if there is one, would be the wearing. The one on the left, the past, is very well worn, and the one on the right, the future, is very well worn, and the one you're standing on, the now, you're looking at it as this looks brand new. Has anybody been in this now path? Few. Now, we all go into the past and we reminisce. We like it. In these lives, we have special moments that we enjoy, and, of course, the subconscious mind stores them in the subconscious library, your private library. So what we do is we go in, we open the door, turn on the lights, we grab some movies and some books and some pictures, and we sit in the easy chair, and we watch the movies, and we reminisce. Man, that was a wonderful time. Love to do that again. Oh, this wasn't a wonderful time. This reminds me not to do that again. But you know what we do? We leave. We'll put it all away, turn off the lights, shut the door, and move forward. We leave. We visit it on occasion. But there are those of us, and I do not believe that it is conscious. I believe it's unconscious. We stay there so long that we end up bringing that past into a future that doesn't exist. We create that future from that past, and we relive that past in that future. That's why there's a lot of people on this planet, in this very now, that says to themselves all the time, no matter what we do, we always end up here. That's why. They feel like they've never gotten anywhere. They feel like they've been walking and running in circles. Now, we all go into the future, but we don't know that the future is being created in the now. You see how quirky, how tricky it is? So we go into a future that really doesn't exist, and we want to know. We want to know things. We want to know what's going to happen in our future. We want to know if there's going to be something good coming. And then when we're told by external authorities that it's this and this and this and this is going to happen for you, and you get all excited, and then it doesn't happen, you become what? You suffer. You get irritated. You get disappointed, maybe upset that it hasn't happened. You don't understand why it hasn't happened. It's supposed to happen because an external authority told me it was going to happen. And the interesting thing is that picture the universe through your heart mind, right? And you see this massive stream of abundance, indescribable. It's nirvana. And you, right, the body you're in there, it vibrates at a certain frequency. And it depends on what your direction, how you believe, how you see, how you feel on where that vibrational frequency is. So you could be standing an inch below that massive flow of abundance that never ends. It's infinity and beyond. It's coming to you all the time. But yet you don't know that, or maybe don't even believe or trust in that. So you're standing under this massive flow of tremendous high vibrational frequency abundance. Isn't that ironic? And then we suffer and we suffer and we worry and we stress and we fear because we believe we have no power at all. That we have no manifesting powers at all. And all that is really required to set you on that path is your vibrational frequency. That's it. It's how you keep yourself in the feeling that you enjoy being in. It's all up to you. It's within you. It isn't up to anybody outside of you. It really isn't. It's up to you. So you get to the point where you practice enough, you start saying, my frequencies, I could, in this present situation that I'm in, I could lower my vibrational frequency. Now, do I want to do that? Because I know the consequences whenever I lower my vibrational frequency. So really, do I really care to do that? And you'll get to the point where you say, there's no way I care to do that. I don't care how much this person's upset me. I don't care how much this is going on around me. I don't care how scary this or that or this is. I will not compromise myself and drop into those lower vibrational frequencies, which would drop me out of the flow of abundance and cause all kinds of lower vibrational frequencies, lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. So I won't do that. No matter how tempted you become, because we all are, at times, to become irritated, frustrated, antsy, hurried, stressed, high expectations, and we lower our frequency. And no one else can change. You're the master of you. So it is up to you to decide. Now, obviously, there are times where we just kind of let it go and we drop down. But do you ever notice when you drop down, it's like a big thud? And all of this low frequency matter starts coming your way. Things don't get better, they get worse. You ever notice that? And so many people don't know the power they are. Now, your soul enters that body. The soul is heaven, the body is earth. You're consciously aware, which means what? That you know that you are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. You know this. You know you're not the body. You know you're not your name. Any of that. So every step that we take on this planet, we are creating paradise, literally. Not figuratively, literally. Not only that, we're shining our light 24/7, infinity and beyond. What is the light? Pure, deep, eternal love. What we're made of. And we're flooding this planet, saturating it, and permeating it with that love. Now, some of us may, in this lifetime yet, discover that when we decide to leave the body and enter the sacredness of space, we know we're the light. We know we are the love. We know that love created us, and we are omnipotently powerful light energy beings. So why in Sam Hill would any of us follow a light that comes at us? Why would we? We wouldn't. We would just move freely and go and do whatever we please to go and do. Because that light is the trap, another trap in the matrix. You can see it through your heart mind. It's not difficult to identify. Now, there's parts of us that are asleep, parts of the gods that we are that are asleep, and there's parts of us that are awake to a certain extent, consciously aware. Now, the ones that are asleep, we deeply love them, just like the ones that are awake, we deeply love them. We're all part of them. It's part of each other. Now, they just don't participate. They'll wake up when they choose to wake up. So this is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, Archangels, Cherubim, Cherubim, Archetypes, Off-Worlders, Galactic, Celestials, all the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, agartha, and beneath earth, all of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've experienced, all light energy beings. The numbers are massive. They're in gigaplexes. And the gigaplex fills this entire universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. These are trillions of gigaplexes from trillions of universes coming in all forms and directions. And it doesn't matter if parts of us are 1,000 billion light years away. It's because the illusion that we've been trained to believe in is separation. There is no separation. There never has been. The reason we enter these bodies is to give the illusion of separation so we focus on our journey. Each of us. Now, the light energy beings on and above and below this planet, with the eyes we have with these physical bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So when you're looking at the light spectrum, red, infrared, violet, ultraviolet, green, ultra-green, blue, ultra-blue, these are different existences, and this group of beings comes in shapes, color, sizes, forms, and configurations, but we don't see them. But there is a group that part of this group, these bodies are tremendously dependent on. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, the magics, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and the minotaur. Ask your body. Ask the body you're in. Can you survive without water? Air, earth, fire, ether, wood. Could you survive? No. The body would say, no way. You see how interdependent these bodies are with the elementals. They're magic. That's another thing we take for granted. They're magic. They're phenomenal creations. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, over 1,000 species, civilizations travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. There is a group that we're particularly aware of, small group, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Feline, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. Now, this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution. Enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now, the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. Now, that doesn't mean that the gods within that body that they're in and the gods within the body that we're in are one. Their bodies vibrate at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them in particular amongst groups of us. We do meet with them out of the clear blue usually. We interact with them out of the clear blue usually. It's not a planned situation or event. They just happen across us. And we communicate. We have a conversation. And we get a feeling that sometimes it's a little, sometimes it's a lot. And sometimes we just say to ourselves, that was an angel. And you look around, they're gone anyway. They're not standing there waiting for you to see them again. You know, and you can ask yourself, well, when have I met them? Well, you know, maybe you've forgotten it through this life you're in. You might have needed help with something and one appears. By the time you look around, they're gone again. Now, they have a message. They've been delivering this message for thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. The message comes in many different forms. But in clarity, the message is, isn't it absolutely magna-glorious to be alive in these bodies? Phenomenal, spectacular, stupendous, splendiferous, magical. And it is. But you see, we take them for granted because we have no memory. You ever seen the baby when it starts to notice its feet and toes and its fingers? You ever seen that? It's interesting, isn't it? They start looking at their fingers like, wow, what is that? They start discovering the body they're in. Now, obviously, we don't do that as the body ages. But the fact of the matter is that to be grateful for these bodies. I mean, absolutely phenomenally grateful for these bodies. Because when you leave the body, when the God that you are leaves that body, you immediately start losing what it's like to be in the body. It fades away, and it fades away quite quickly. And you can't remember what it was like to be in a physical form. And while you're in the physical form, you take it for granted and you just go about life, right? Until something starts to break down in the body. And then you don't know what to do because you don't understand your body and you don't have an intimate relationship with your body. That's pretty much standard for the majority of us. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time. In the tens of millions, because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And ask them if you want. Within seconds, they'll be around you. And you will be in bliss. Now, the Ascended Masters, they've ascended into physical form. They have mastered physical form. They have ascended out of physical form. They hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form. We're in the process of mastering physical form. We are creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, we're always together in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance, and we're all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to grow. It continues to intensify. It continues to expand. We immediately form a white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. What is it? Where does it come from? It comes from us, within each and every one of us. It is the pure, deep, eternal love that we're made of. It is the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. And we're flooding, saturating, and permeating this planet 24/7, infinity and beyond. It does not end. There's no escape. Period. Complete elimination of the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. They can't exist. This light is so bright that it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1,000 billion suns even to come close to the brightness of this white fire circle of light. Now we begin to ascend above the planet, and we're immediately met with this ocean of glitter. Now, it isn't like an ocean that you would depict on this planet. It's way beyond that. And the way to describe it, the closest we can come, is you've got a ballroom globe. You know what those are. We see them. They reflect light. Except this ballroom globe is a trillion times larger and a trillion times more intense. Then we've got a grand finale laser light show and a grand finale fireworks display. And we combine them all into one massive crescendo. That's about as close as we'll get to describing the ocean of glitter. Now we're curious, so we go to the reflective points. And we notice these tiny microscopic mirrors, perfectly etched, and we enter them. And when we get inside, we are absolutely blown away because we've discovered that we are all teaching each other, and we are all learning from each other. Infinity and beyond. And people say, well, what can I learn from a frog? That's silly. Well, that's the ego mind stepping up front and center. You look at a frog long enough, you're going to learn something. It's like everything. You look at it long enough, you wonder what it's like to be it, you will learn something. And that's what we're doing. We're constantly learning. Constantly. Dog, cat, rock, tree. We've been taught that the tree is life, that all this is life. What supports it? The God within this planet, right? Until we, the gods, enter it and give it its power so that it will sustain us while we experience its physical form. The God doesn't enter life. The God is life. We're met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods that we are within these bodies, that we are the power of healing. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Raphael, of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods within these bodies, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are protected 24/7, infinity and beyond, head to toe, inside and out, with this white fire armor. Now, it's nothing like the armor you would depict on this planet. It's way beyond that. Now, this armor vibrates at such a high vibrational frequency that nothing can harm us. No lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, no demon possession, no attachments, nothing. We are the highest of the highest high vibrational frequency. Love. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, anger, fear, guilt, envy, jealousy, hurriedness, revenge, all of those, we could go on forever. You will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then we have all kinds of possibilities. Demon possession, attachments, all kinds of things. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with the purple transmuting flame. This is a double column of light. Purple transmuting flame is the first part of it. We created this to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can purify all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are no more. We are then met with the violet ray. This is the second part of the column of light. We created the violet ray to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor and restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest of the purest purest. Eternal love. Gratitude. Peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created, the gods that we are within these bodies, to remind us all that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the rain and the rainbow. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the trees and the forest. We are the soils, the animals, starry lit night sky, mountains. We are everything. The sky is the clouds. And everything is us. So the next time you view a sunset or a sunrise, a rainbow, an ocean front, a mountain view, starry-lit night sky, we've been taught to look at that as separate from us. So we say, isn't that beautiful? The next time you see any of it, from the heart mind, that is the God that I am. That is the God that I am. You could be sitting there with a young one, and both of you looking at a sunset. And you can say to the young one, that's the God that you are, the God that resides within that body of yours. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us who are carrying physical form decide to step out of that physical form and hover effortlessly above it. Now, the reason we do this is because it's fun and we can. We come across this massive crystalline light tower. We all created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. Now, in the center of the column, we notice this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere, we see this golden white bowl of light. And around the golden white bowl of light, we see these numerous colored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. Now, that's created this massive, super bright, white, lighted, cloudy mist. And it's flickering and sparkling. It's just amazing. And it's absorbed through our heart minds. And it is like a warm embrace that never ends. Now we discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes well-being. Then gratitude. And then gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Bliss, joy, peace. Tranquility, benevolence. Tremendous, phenomenal, magna, glorious prosperity. Tremendous, phenomenal, magna, glorious abundance. Now, at the top of this column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 24/7, infinity and beyond, as it's doing right now. What is the golden ocean? It's the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Can you see through your heart minds? How can any lower dark matter, survival matter frequency escape this planet to cause havoc on another planet? They can't. They won't. They can't exist. This is the highest of the highest high vibrational frequency. Deep eternal love. We are transcending. We are transforming this planet into a literal God planet paradise that glows. And it outglows any light in this universe. Now, we're drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops. Drops are the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We all created this sphere over 4 years ago. It holds over 1,800 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Hundreds of millions of us, consciously aware to a certain extent on and off world, gathered here knowingly with no separation as the illusion, transforming this planet, bringing the vibrational frequencies to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal love. These meditations continue to grow, continue to intensify, and continue to expand. That's why this sphere can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. You can tap into it anytime, through your heart minds, through meditation. Experience the joy, the bliss, the nirvana by swimming in those meditations. When you're ready to take on a new challenge, you are ready for self-inquiry. Start by meditating on the question, who am I? Conscious introspection can lead to enlightenment. So dive into yourself. Ask yourself questions all day long, like, who is watching now? Who is hearing this? Who is experiencing this body? Notice what thoughts your mind creates as an answer to this question. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Remain still. Today, speak what cannot be spoken. Listen to what you cannot hear. Sit with the feelings you cannot bear to feel. And see what your eyes are unwilling to watch. Simply practice being with what you are, resisting, and notice the strategies you have to try to control and manipulate your experience of this life. Notice what you demand from yourself, life, and others, and explore how you can face all your demons inside today. This is your day to become a spiritual warrior and enjoy the experience of transcending all these illusionary thoughts, feelings, and experiences that you cannot be present to. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation